जो सब्जेक्ट है वो है इंडियाज प्रिपेयर्डनेस टू एम्ब्रेस डेवलपमेंट बाय बिल्डिंग मेगा लॉजिस्टिक्स इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। और मैं स्टेज पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगा द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इन्वेस्ट इंडिया श्री राहुल अग्रवाल जी का।
Good afternoon, I think ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rahul Agarwal. I'm a Vice President at Invest India. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about us. We are India's investment promotion agency. I'm sure you will not know what is that also. So we essentially build the India brand for global investors and attract them to India. Now that story doesn't end there, because attracting is one thing. They need hand-holding in the country. So we are the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency as well. So we facilitate alongside promoting investments in India. You don't know us maybe, but you know some of our brands: Make in India, Startup India, One District, One Pension. These are some of our brands, and I'm sure a lot of you may relate to that. So, before I jump into, the title of what I have to speak on, I'm not using the presentation. I thought it's better maybe I can share my thoughts openly. So, our story has been very exciting. In last 7 or 8 years, we've been into, in the presence. We've been able to grow a lot, right? When we started, we were an 8-member team. Today, we are about 350 people, sitting out of Vigyan Bhavan, next door. And just some numbers for you. As of today, we are working on $195 billion worth of investment, and we are facilitating that capital into India. Thanks. I think in this time, I think what we could achieve was double the foreign direct investments, right? So that's the headline number. We were at 45 billion back in 2014-15. Today, we are at 83. But alongside that, I think what we could achieve and learn was that, we can invest, we can attract investments in India, and through that bring in development. So that's precisely us. And, so how I see investments, right? Let me just jump into that. Is about 3 or maybe 4 points around which we are working, right? One is ease of doing business. I think many of us know what could have been achieved, how you saw it, maybe 20 years back, and how you're seeing it now. The second one is, when we actually achieved ease of doing business and a lot was done there, a lot of people said, no, we still cannot compete. So the change was to bring in competition, right? Can we compete at the global stage? And the latest addition to that was the production-linked incentive scheme, where we believe we can add almost $500 billion to Indian GDP. And the last one is infrastructure. I think that story is where, I'm most passionate about, and I would like to speak about that. If you look at, history, and I used to work for Planning Commission of India between 2009 and 14. We used to invest about 7 to 8% of our GDP in infrastructure. Pretty much across last 20 years, we have done that. And while I was in, back in 2009-10, we used to say, okay, we will invest $100 billion maybe in 2016-17, and we achieved that. At this stage where we are standing right now, we are looking at, by 2025, an annual $300 to $400 billion worth of infrastructure investment every year. And by 2030, in my view, we will be spending $1 trillion in Indian infrastructure every year. Which means what? We are actually, the roads which we are today calling our highways will be our city roads. The roads which we are calling our expressways will almost become our highways, and we will be looking for advanced infrastructure. A lot of, many of us, I'm sure, do not like, when we see China, you say, okay, this is what we want to achieve for India. And I think that we are seeing in next 8 to 10 years. And I'm sure, gentlemen, you can imagine the impact which brings, the business which that brings for all of us here. I think that's the scale at which we are growing, and we are we are moving from here. The second thing which I want to share with all of you is the investor interest and how it has changed. 2016 is the first time, a lot of people, when I was in planning commission, a lot of people used to say, pension funds will come and invest in India, right? And, the first question I used to ask was, where are these pension funds? Who are these pension funds? You look at the last year's private equity venture capital investment, it is close to 83 billion. And, investors like Brookfield and CPPIB have individually invested $20 to $25 billion in India. These investors, in my view, will be investing the likes of hundreds of billions of dollars over next 5-10 years in India. Why is that? We provide huge investment opportunity, very high yields, and sustainable returns which they are seeking, which are not available anywhere else in the world. And we are the only geography in the world which allows them to do it freely. So, what I want to say here is that, this is the geography which the world is looking at. We need to be ready and provide them opportunities where they can come in and invest and follow high principles of governance, environment, and sustainability, which can build a huge India, a new India for us. With that in mind, I think just one last thing, and my time is getting over. Invest India works for every entity which is there in the country. You're facing any issues while you're making investments, do approach us. We have addressed more than 298,000 queries as of date and helped number of investors bringing huge amount of capital. So visit our website, it's a knowledge bank. Through that, you can contact us, and any issue you are facing in the country, whether it's a regulatory issue, you have a regulatory suggestion, you're making an investment, you're not able to find land, you can all do that. One thing which we have done recently is to digitize the investor ecosystem for India. So today, if you want to buy land anywhere in the country, we have what is known as the National Land Bank. And we have launched a portal known as India Industrial Land Bank portal. So wherever you are trying to find land, it's available on that portal. The second thing on that, what we have done recently is launched the National Single Window portal, which means if you're trying to start a business, as basic as a restaurant, to open a warehouse, you will need approvals. And in most cases, you may not even know how many approvals you need. Just go to National Single Window portal, enter your requirements, and it will tell you each approval you require. And through the same portal, you can apply for each of those approvals. And all the approvers will have to clear your approval within a set timeline as well. So National Single Window portal is the next one which we have launched. We also have what is known as the India Investment Grid. India Investment Grid is a menu of opportunities of projects in India. Whether it's an infrastructure project or a private sector project, we have made that repository which you can use, you can analyze, you can find opportunities and invest thereon. And lastly, and actually there are many, but one more which I personally manage is the project monitoring group, where any project which is, and when I say any, I mean projects above 500 crores, any of those projects facing any hurdles, whether a land hurdle, if you can imagine you're not able to acquire land in a district, or an environment issue, you can use the PMG portal and get access to the institutional mechanism where the officials from PMO, the Cabinet Secretariat, sit together and resolve those issues on an expedited basis. So I request you to use all of these mechanisms. They are very important. And keep investing in India, and we are always available. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would request you to please stay back on stage, sir. Can I request Mr. Devansh Patel to join us on stage to present Mr. Rahul Agarwal with a token of our founder's appreciation.